I'm not sure who's doing the marketing for the Amazon's Rings of Power TV series, but seriously, you might want to get some new ones. They've only gone and deleted another 8,000 comments after they've already got caught for deleting 22,000 of them. I mean, seriously, not only what do you want to achieve, but did you think that this would be good advertisement? Did you think that people wouldn't notice? This is the internet. There's always someone watching. The first place I actually saw this was on Nerdrotic's channel during the real BBC, when they first noticed that another 8,000 comments had been deleted. And as proof, as you can see from this screenshot of RK Outpost channel on April 1st, compared to the one from Nerdrotic's stream yesterday, 8,000 comments have been deleted. Now, if we go over to their channel live, what you can see is it's actually gone up to 56,200. But that's simply because you good people out there actually heard that they've been deleting comments and then came over. This is exactly what happened last time. When I made the video of them deleting 22,000 before, what happened was we immediately jumped up from about 60,000 to 63,000 almost immediately, just because when you try and silence people, they don't want to be silenced, so they go and make their comment again. This is why this comment deletion is completely and utterly pointless, and yet Amazon doesn't seem to have learned about this yet. It's not just the fact that they don't care about the opinions of fans, but for some reason, they think as long as they just quietly delete things, then people don't actually care enough to come back and do it again. That might be true for some products or IPs when nobody's actually that bothered about it and think, I can't be bothered to go back and do it again. But when you're talking about Lord of the Rings or various different beloved IPs, yeah, the fans are really, really enthusiastic and passionate about that, and you just deleting things at random, it's not going to work. They'll come back and post that thing 10 or 20 times. When you're talking about a fan base this big, they can be stubborn for far longer than you can pay someone to delete them at Amazon. And before anyone thinks, oh no, it's some kind of automated spam filter, you know, everyone was posting the same comments in different languages, but just, you know, there were a few variations of the same comments, and so they probably just caught in a spam filter, and that's what you're seeing over time. Yeah, that'd hold water if it actually happened on the UK trailer as well, but as you can see here, just to show you it's the UK trailer, what you've got here is 21.6 thousand comments, and yet here is a picture from RK Outpost channel, all the way back from the 8th of March, showing 21.3 thousand. And if you look at the small amount of views which have increased over that time, which is about 30,000, compared to the 300 comments that have been added, then you can see that it's absolutely legitimate. And it doesn't look like a single comment has got deleted from the UK one, even though if you scroll through, you could see it's all the same similar kind of things. So this is definitely not some kind of automated spam which has been removing them here, because otherwise it would obviously apply to both, because both of them had the same comments, albeit the UK one didn't have the same volume. Now, the comments getting deleted would be a big enough story for me on its own, mainly because it gives me another opportunity to talk about HR departments, and how once activists get into your HR departments, they then take over the entire company, because they just start hiring lunatics who are awful at their job. Awful people tend to do things like this, because they're so fragile that they actually can't handle any kind of criticism. I think there's a few key places which are most important to actually watch for, and HR departments are absolutely one of them. But there was another part of this story, something strange going on, and that is the upvotes and the downvotes. Now, as we all know, downvotes were removed from YouTube, and most people have been putting them back in with an add-on called Return YouTube Dislikes. The question is, this says 1.1 million downvotes. Well, yesterday on Nerdrotic's channel, it said 1.8 million downvotes. And a little bit before that, it said 168,000 downvotes. So, where have all these downvotes come from, and why? Now, the way the add-on used to work is once they got removed from YouTube itself, YouTube still had an API where you could pull data directly from YouTube and then put it into a browser add-on. That was what it originally was. But at some point, and I don't know when, the downvotes got removed from the API, and that left the add-on having no idea how many downvotes there were. And so if you go to the Return YouTube Dislikes actual page, you can find things like this. Where does the extension get its data? Where it says it gets its data from a combination of archive data from before the official YouTube dislike API got shut down, and extrapolated extension user behavior. We also get this under how does this work. The extension collects the video ID of the video you are watching, fetches the dislike and other fields like views, likes, etc. using our API. The extension then displays the dislike count and the ratio on the page. If you like or dislike a video, that is recorded and sent to the database, so an accurate dislike count can be extrapolated. So they have an accurate representation of how many people have disliked the video who use the extension. But how do they extrapolate it out? Well, luckily, the extension has a video for us on the topic, and it's here, and you can see the actual mathematics right there.
To generate our dislike data, we take the number of dislikes from our extension users, divide that by the number of likes from our extension users, and then multiply that by the public like count.
So what you end up with is an estimate, not an accurate representation of what was done. But at the end of the day, it's better than nothing. If YouTube actually wanted people to have an accurate representation, they shouldn't have removed it in the first place. So while I can say that yes, this isn't accurate, at least it's something, and it's probably the best we're ever going to get at this point. The question is, why on earth was this such a massive jump? Because it's a sudden jump that makes no sense to me, so instead I'm going to ask a different question. Is it reasonable? Is it reasonable that before we had 168,000, or is the 1.1 million downvotes more reasonable? And I think we can get close to an answer for that. On my videos, if I go and look at my like to dislike ratio compared to the views, I tend to get around 10% interaction. Sometimes it's more if it's a really good video, and sometimes it's less, but on average, it's about 1 in 10 people like or dislike a video. But obviously, my videos and my audience isn't exactly representative of a trailer for a TV show, so what would be? Well, luckily, we've already got a major trailer release actually out today, and that is Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And if you look at this trailer, the mathematics come out to about 8.26%, which is within sort of my average of 10%. Sometimes I get around 8, sometimes I get up to like 14 or 15, and overall it probably balances out at about 10. So that is a perfectly reasonable, normal video, and it fits in with all of the data that I have access to, although admittedly, I've not been doing this for that long. So I'm sure many other channels would have a far better data set to pull from, but it's all in line so far. So then you get to this with 1.1 million downvotes. The thing is, that still only puts this to 4.15%. Which is half of the interaction that Marvel Studios got with Doctor Strange. So the thing is, even with the boosted numbers, it's still half of the normal interaction that I would expect, or in fact that Marvel can pull on their video. So if we go back to the 168,000 downvotes that it was originally, that comes out to 0.94%, or about 10%. Of what the Doctor Strange video got when it just comes to sheer interaction. So when it comes down to it, is this a genuine, accurate, one-to-one representation of the YouTube downlikes? No, it isn't, and you can find that out just on the Return YouTube Dislikes page yourself. Is it reasonable, though? Yes. It's actually more than reasonable, as it's still only half of the interaction that Marvel get on their trailers. And if you want to know the really interesting and bizarre part of it all, then the Amazon Prime UK video trailer, their downvotes hasn't skyrocketed and they haven't altered at all. As you can see in Ryan's original video, actually the downvotes have gone up by 2,000, which considering the actual views that increase is perfectly legitimate and within what you would expect. So it seems to be just a change for this video on its own. And if you wanted another data point of whether it's reasonable, you could take the average amount of comments to like/dislike that you get across videos and compare that to the Lord of the Rings trailer. Except that goes way too in-depth for me to do on this video. And so when you come down to it, I would say that if anything, the unreasonable option was that only 164,000 people downvoted it before, because that is so out of the normal range for general interaction on any of my videos, or in fact, the standard Marvel trailer, as you've just seen here. And the fact that even though this is increased by what, like 8 or 9 times, and is still only half of the interaction that a Marvel trailer gets, means that for me, I'm fully willing to accept that this is 1.1 million. I mean, it was 1.8 million before. I have no idea what's going on. Something mental is going on. But my point isn't even that it's accurate anymore. My point is that it's probably just close to the truth. Let's face it, if this was a really popular trailer and actually the downvotes weren't increasing at record speed, then I don't think Amazon would actually keep deleting comments. And yet so far, we know, for certain, they've deleted at least 30,000 comments, and that's just from the numbers that we've been able to track. That's not even including the amount which has gone up during that time, because we can only count from when someone last looked the actual amount now. And I would say that if you weren't scared of a record backlash against your billion-dollar property, you probably wouldn't be deleting comments from Joe Blogs down the road as a multi-billion-dollar corporation. It tends to be the people that are confident about the quality of their work aren't the ones rushing around desperately trying to hide negative people and censor all of the fans. Now, the people that tend to censor others are always the ones on the wrong side of the argument. That's why they have to do it in the first place, because they know they can't stand up against the voices of an opposition. So Amazon, I said it last time. You lost. You got caught. But for some reason, you thought you could do it all over again and no one's going to call you on it. Well, it turns out not only did you draw attention to the fact that you're still deleting comments and you still despise the voices of the fans, but actually, those downvotes may have been seriously underrepresented from what they used to be. Because at this point, no matter what is going on with that Chrome extension, you made me do the maths of what is actually reasonable. And that's only about half of what it should be. So what do you know? You played yourself. For now, that's it from me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. More videos like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.